Hello, you're listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians Podcast, episode 32. I'm here tonight with Ethan Montgomery.
Hello.
And Jared Schneiderman.
What's up?
Hey. So, what'd you guys get into this weekend? Anything cool?
Well, I played a show Friday night at the Metropolitan in Annapolis. It's pretty sweet. Played with both my bands, Fake Flowers, Real Dirt, and Spirit Parade. Check us out online. And we played with J Pope and the Funk Friday, who are also incredible, and I highly recommend you check them out.
Sweet. What kind of music?
Funky soul stuff. Jazzy.
Well, that's cool.
Eclectic.
Yeah. I was just hanging out in, well, first I was hanging out in Sykesville at the Sykesville Beer Festival yesterday. It's pretty cool. Beer and chili festival.
Oh, I'm sure that's wonderful in the morning.
Yeah, well, yeah. So basically drinking all day, then went downtown, drank some more. It's pretty good.
Well done.
How about you, Bergman? What'd you get into?
You know, I hung out with you and some other people on Friday night.
Yeah, we did do that.
And we saw our buddy's band play. And then, last night I just, what was that?
Not my band, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then
Too many bands, dude.
Yeah, last night my brother came over and my buddy Status Ned, and we were just hanging out.
What's his name?
Status Ned.
Oh,
like he's been on the
Status.
podcast before. We refer to him as Status Ned.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So they came over. We played Black Ops 3, so that's pretty cool. And today, not much. Just had to work. Yeah, so no.
You didn't play any Terminator? Any T2?
We did play some T2 yesterday as well.
Has that been brought up on the podcast before? Because
Yeah,
I
we
think it's
brought it up
incredible.
last week. You
Okay.
could hear.
Well, you could
machine
actually
guns
hear it in
going
the
off
background last week.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm still looking forward. You have to let me play a couple games once
Dude,
we're done here.
Yeah, seriously. Of course, man. I'd like for you to come over one time because, like, seriously, we have not beat it yet.
Well, we need to fix that.
I know, dude. That's what I'm saying, man. But it's like, it's one of those things that you play that game for like an hour, you know, and it makes me mad too because it makes me realize, like, yeah, this game, like, you know, I guess like most arcade games or all arcade games, just meant to, like, you know, you just keep throwing quarters in there, dude.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What else is the point?
I mean, yeah, the amount of times we were doing,
so
like,
hard.
we were, like, doing continues. I can't imagine, like, how much money that cost.
So
Exactly.
So how does it work with the machine you have? Because I remember way back in the day, I had a birthday party at this place. It was like an arcade and putt and everything. And what you could do is you could rent it for your birthday for like little kids. And what they would do is they would open up the coin slots, like unlock them, open up, and then you just like hit the thing that the coins normally hit, just for like however many credits you want. Is that how this works? Or?
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
Oh, okay.
There is some way to go in and make it totally free, but apparently you have to fuck with something called the dipstick. And wait, no, maybe it's the dip switch. I don't know.
Dip
Probably
switch.
dip stick is for your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any oil.
True.
And
I don't
T2
even
though.
feel the herb yet, and I don't know. I'm not sure where that came from. So it's basically you fuck with this thing called the dip switch, and then you can make it like free play.
Okay.
But apparently that entails opening up the back. So for now, I'm just hitting that little coin button you were talking about.
Well, if that's all you have to do, I mean.
Why fuck around?
Except for the coin button or whatever it is pretty frail. It's like you're hitting a safety pin. So I kind of want to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I kind of want to get like the dip switch thing set it up to where I can make it free play. Because the coin thing, I feel like I could eventually break.
Well, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. So and then basically, just in case we ever wanted to resell it, which, you know, I don't think we will, but, you know, who knows. Like I've always said, if I could have one arcade game, that would be the one. So, you know, to be able to have that, you know, I mean, that's really fucking cool.
Was Ninja Turtles on your radar?
Oh, dude, are you shitting me, dude? That is exactly number 2.
Okay, I was
Like-
just making sure.
Like seriously, if I could have a second arcade game, Turtles the arcade game would be number 2.
Where's RC Pro-Am on that hierarchy?
It's not on my list. You know, the third one
Really?
that I've been thinking about is, do you remember that game Lethal Enforcers?
Oh, that was another shooting game, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know. I do remember that. Didn't it sort of look like Virtua Fighter? Like it was one of those like early 3D quote unquote games.
Well, I'm not familiar with Virtual Fighter.
Virtua.
Virtua, sorry. But I remember there was a game on Nintendo, but now I can't think of that either, where it was a gun game. Well, basically, you know, you have criminals like popping out of different places, and you have to shoot them, and you can't shoot the innocent civilians.
Well,
What do you think about those games where you have to like push down your foot on a lever to like duck behind shit?
Oh, you know, those annoyed me. I think like
They were kind of cool
time,
though.
I think the first time I did that, I didn't realize that's what you had to do. And
Yeah,
so of course
and
I
you
got
were just
my
like
ass
dying
handed to
instantly.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to be hitting at least like 50% of the time, or else you're just getting fucked by bullets.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd rather spend that time shooting, but
Yeah.
what does an 8-year-old know?
Right on. All right. Well.
And then there was Lethal Enforcers 2. You're actually like in the Wild West, and you're like a sheriff or something.
You know, I think I remember that as well.
I don't think I ever played that one, but I'm really into westerns, so that one would probably even appeal to me more.
That's fair.
Like, I love westerns.
I wonder if that's like more
Especially like
rare,
John Wayne.
so it's more expensive on the market or something.
Actually, you know, I saw one in Pennsylvania, and I think they were asking like $600 or best offer. So it might have even been for something. But at any rate, it was a low enough amount to where like, you know, I'd buy it. You know.
What are you waiting for?
Well, because I just got one. I should probably calm down. Yeah.
Yeah.
You already shot
Yeah.
your arcade load.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Let
know.
it rebuild.
It's I don't want to go like fucking crazy with it.
Well, I guess you want to enjoy this one.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
First.
You know, maybe we'll find another one later. You know, maybe we'll just stick with this one.
I feel like you're talking about having kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, it's like, you know, we keep it upstairs in the dining room, and it's basically Jill
You
said.
mean the Terminator room?
Yeah, exactly. And
You eat in the Terminator room, not play Terminator in the dining room.
yeah, like Jill's saying, if we get another game, it'll have to go down in the basement because we're not gonna have any more room up there. And I'm thinking that's fucking horseshit. Like, there's totally like so much more room up there. You know, you could fit at least one more arcade in there,
Oh, yeah.
and still have a small dining room table.
Maybe a small circular.
Yeah, but we mostly sit on the couch, eat, and watch TV anyways. So it's like, honestly, I don't give a shit about a dining room. It's going to be like useful when we invite people over, but we have like 2 couches anyways. So I mean, there's plenty of room, and most of my friends aren't going to care. So, I mean, I can't think of anybody who would care who I would invite over for dinner. So
That's your criteria. Like, if you give a fuck about my arcade games, you are not welcome.
oh, as far as like eating at a dining room table.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But
Can't be too civilized in the Bergman house.
I mean, yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, I don't. I can't think of a friend who wouldn't walk in my house and say, "Whoa, cool, rad, arcade." You know, I mean, it's
because you know good people.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear you.
So yeah, man. But yeah, number 2 would be Turtles. I saw there's a dude in I think this guy's in like Virginia or Pennsylvania or one or the other, and he has an arcade where he took a Turtles 2 game and he added the motherboard for Turtles in Time. Right?
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, Turtles in Time came out in the 90s, and they actually put out a version of it on Super Nintendo. But that's a really badass game too, and it's very similar to that first Turtles game. But it's just like updated, better graphics, you know. I can't say that I ever played it in the arcade, but the Super Nintendo version was awesome.
Well, there you go.
So, and
There you have it.
but the dude's asking like $1,700 for it.
Ooh.
Oh, tell him to go fuck himself.
Yeah.
I don't know though. It is 2 games. It is 2 games, and apparently, if you
But for that price, I feel like you could build one of those like emulation machines. Like you just like put a PC in the box, and like it'll run anything you want. You know.
Yeah, but I've always thought that emulators. I played a number of emulators for like Super Nintendo and Nintendo, and they never feel as good as the actual system to me.
Well, are you playing them with like an actual controller, or are you like using your keyboard and mouse?
That would be the thing.
I've done both, but
Really?
yeah, the controller of course makes a lot of difference. But
Sure.
yeah,
It's definitely not going to be the same. You're not going to have like the same response and the same.
I mean, dude, like, did you have like a Nintendo or a Super Nintendo?
Of course.
Okay, so it's basically, I mean, like I tried it with some games that I played a lot, and there was definitely it didn't have the same feel, and I still own those systems and own those games. So, and honestly, there's no game that I can think of for Nintendo or Super Nintendo that I want that I don't already have.
So sort of like playing through a line 6 instead of a real Marshall, like that kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
would appreciate
exactly.
that. Well, fair enough. So what do we have on the agenda politically this week? What's going on?
Well, Ben Carson has recently come out saying a whole bunch of crazy shit. One of them was that he believes, I think what he said was that Joseph from the Bible was storing grain in the pyramids or something like that, or had them built so that he could store grain, which has no historical accuracy at all to it.
I mean, what was he saying? Was he saying that that's
Did you
what
ever-
the Bible says? Or
Yeah, I guess. I think it was.
Does it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It was just
dude,
really
I have
weird.
no idea.
I mean,
Well,
he's
I mean, that's definitely weird, but I don't. To me, that's just par for the course for any religion. So
what, saying just wacky shit.
well, yeah.
Yeah, sure. But it's like, why are you talking about this shit on your during your campaign?
I don't know. Yeah,
Like,
it's
what is the
how
point?
the
I mean, I think
pyramids come up.
he's trying to appeal to like the Santorum vote. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a Christian and we need Christian values, and that's what's going to save our society.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, like when it comes to Ben Carson, I think he is like legitimately a Christian.
Oh yeah, no, he's hardcore. He's
I mean,
very religious.
like honestly,
he
like
always
like,
has
I,
been.
Yeah, I think he's sincere about that. Whereas
Well, the question was, why would you talk about that?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, dude, I did not.
Or
hear the
like say they-
conversation,
or
so I
like-
can't vouch for that.
What's that?
I did not actually hear the conversation. I've just only heard people talk about it. So,
Yeah. I don't think I heard the actual soundbite
yeah,
either.
I'm not
but-
sure like how or why it came up.
But I've seen a whole bunch of hilarious memes about it. So.
I mean, is
Dude,
that
everybody
like,
knows
is that,
that
like, the
aliens
craziest
built the
thing?
pyramids, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's true. Aliens. I mean, like, has he said anything else particularly crazy? So don't get me
Well, he
wrong.
did deny-
That's crazy as fuck.
I mean, he did deny evolution, which is, in my opinion, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. I mean, I guess nothing he's saying is like beyond what a super religious person would say. But, it just, as far as for a presidential candidate to say things that are kind of, I don't want to, not particularly anti-science. Well, I guess denying evolution is anti-science, right? But to be saying stuff like that and also be a surgeon is very weird. And
that is true.
I don't think it's good.
That I've had a difficult time reconciling. How you get that crazy. But look at what everybody else is saying. I mean, all these people obviously believe in the state, and that's pretty fucking crazy. I view that as being as absolutely lunatic as having faith in a god.
Right.
So I guess to me, I mean, the way I look at it is that there's the absolute scale or the relative scale. In the absolute sense, yeah, it's batshit fucking crazy. But in the relative sense, is it any more crazy than what pretty much every other candidate is saying on a regular basis?
Right.
Maybe slightly, but not. It's not like a whole world of crazy apart. But again, I mean, that's just to point out how fucking crazy the whole thing is, not to mitigate the like, oh, well, that's a perfectly reasonable position to have. No, it's completely batshit insane, but so is everything else that everybody else is saying.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just want to be contrarian, try to
I
give the guy
totally
some
agree.
credit.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
and I would be contrarian too about the statement like denying science.
Yeah.
Because I mean, science is fucking been around forever. I mean, hasn't science quote unquote proven things that later turned out to be false?
Well, the whole scientific method is to continue to gather evidence and data and change your conclusions if necessary. But it's not like every single theory that's come out has been wrong.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's kind of like there's like it's like that South Park episode where science is like the religion of the future. My science is superior to your science.
Sure, yeah.
Well, yeah, but they were making a point of. They were just making a point of tribalism.
No, they were making. I think they were making a point of. Religious people are annoying, but science people are just as annoying.
They can be.
Oh, I would say so.
What is
totally.
science people though? I mean, I
No,
feel like
science
everybody
people-
should accept the
it's-
scientific method. I mean, it's
No, because I mean, dude, actually, I take an interest in science. Like, I'd say probably more than the average dude.
Okay.
Like, and to the extent where I'll read some shit online. I'll watch some science documentaries on YouTube or Netflix, and I mean, stuff totally interests me. But at the same time, I don't take anything for like 100% quote unquote scripture. Whereas, I mean, I think all this shit's like theories and guesses that are somehow rooted in evidence, but I don't hold anything to be like 100% true. I mean, essentially, because like I wasn't fucking there.
I think, I mean, I totally get what you're saying as far as
the
like the hardline
scientific
scientific people. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I would agree with tend to disagree. Well, at least with this statement that people say like, oh, 97% of scientists agree with climate change, blah blah blah. Like, well, they're just politicizing and bullshitting and trying to use the veil of we're scientific.
But that's one survey that was like tainted as fuck by a person who gave it, who's just trying to raise money for global warming research.
Well, but that is the problem with
it was sent out to like fucking like 3,000 scientists.
Yeah,
and I believe like a third of them got back, and then apparently,
that's the problem. There are these certain scientific endeavors that are also mixed with politics. Like I don't
totally,
like I don't
dude.
think something like evolution
and the science crowd only hurts things. It only like helps the politics go along in the same way that the religious right does the same thing for those guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just all faulty thinking, and I mean, like for example, I mean, like similar sort of thing, like militant atheists can really piss me off. I mean, for one, they tend to be leftist, which I hate leftists of all stripes, but they'll constantly be guilty of the same faulty logic and faulty thinking that they're accusing religious people of. I'm trying to.
It depends. It depends.
I mean, I'm very staunchly atheist.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not agnostic. I'm atheist.
Sure.
But so many times atheists will go on ragging about religious people, but using the same flawed logic that religious people do, and insofar as they're basically turning it into like a faith. Holy crap! What is going on?
Stella's gone fucking nuts.
The dog's on the loose.
Yeah. No, I mean.
And they're just heinously obnoxious about it too, but
there's definitely some. I mean, people have like, how do you feel about a guy like Dawkins?
I have no problem with him, but here's the thing. And this is what I want to bring up about with regards to science thing. Science done properly qualifies the statements they make. Like a theory is just that. It's just a theory. It's not necessarily a statement of fact. So they will qualify, what is a theory, what is just a hypothesis, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas obviously when it comes to religion or faith, there's none of that. It's just it is because it is for no good reason other than we believe it is. Whereas science will at least couch it on, like they will say a string theory cannot be proven. They have no idea.
I feel
there's
like,
lots of good reasons
I feel like
why
even
they should.
Even right there, you're talking in absolutes because you're saying science will. Science doesn't fucking exist. It doesn't exist.
Well, when we're talking about science, we're talking about the scientific method.
Yeah,
and the scientific method is used to confirm facts and find out epistemological truths about the universe. But yeah, I mean, sure.
But
like,
don't you ever get annoyed with people who are like, "Well, science," and it's like, motherfucker, you're who are you really a scientist? Or you're just taking for granted what some dude's telling you, and the dude's like,
well, yeah, but at some point,
before.
Yeah, well, are you talking a specific example? I mean, that's why you have what's called scientific consensus. Like something like evolution has a scientific consensus. 98% of biologists believe in evolution. And believe isn't even really a good term to use, but
I mean, they have actual empirical evidence now too. To the best. Again, it is still just a theory of evolution. And this is why I say they qualify everything insofar as this is the extent to which we know this to be true, which may be 100%.
I like to talk about things as theories. Like exactly. But you can just what you said.
But when you have enough evidence for something, you can safely call it a fact.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there are things that are still.
And a theory can be a fact. A theory isn't necessarily just like, oh, I have this idea of how things might work. No, you could be like, we're reasonably confident that evolution is true because we have mountains and mountains of evidence from all sorts of different.
Because you have faith in these scientists.
I mean, I have faith that the evidence that's been collected isn't completely made up. I mean, at some point you have to take a small leap of faith and say, unless you're actually conducting this science yourself, yeah, it could be one giant conspiracy technically, or
I'm not,
you know
I'm
what I
not
mean.
saying
But
it is a quote unquote giant
but
conspiracy.
at some point, yes, you have to sort of make a small leap of faith and be like, well, I'm going to trust the science that's been collected and the interpretation of that science.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You gotta have faith in science, dude.
Sure, but it's way different than having faith in God that doesn't have any evidence.
Well, and here's one of the big things that's so important to science, and this is one example why the current global warming theories are complete bullshit, because it has to be falsifiable. If it's not falsifiable, It's not science. Now, God obviously is completely unfalsifiable and just so happens to be very carefully defined in all the right ways to make it completely unfalsifiable. So that's like, well, then you have no business in believing in something that can't be falsified. And the same thing with the global warming stuff is every time, they just constantly change the goalposts of like, well, your model was wrong last time. It's like, oh, that's because the model was wrong, not because global warming isn't real. It's like, well, now this is just a faith thing because there's no measure by which you'd be willing to admit that no, this isn't the case.
Right.
Did you see that video where like Ted Cruz was who was he? Like he was giving the like Sierra Foundation shit on like the Senate floor? Because
I'm not familiar. No.
Well,
I think I heard about that.
apparently there's a thing, and I believe it's called the still, or what is it called? It's basically like, I think it's like the last 18 years or something. Like the temperature of the Earth has not risen. Scientists say they don't know why it has not risen because it should be rising because of all this carbon and all this man-made pollution. But it has not risen, and they have a term for it too. I say it's called the standstill, but it's something else. And
is that the thing I've heard? It's called like the global pause or something.
Oh,
like that?
exactly. Yeah, the pause. Yeah. So, anyways, he brought this up to the dude from the Sierra Foundation on like the Senate floor, and you could tell he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. And then his buddy was like whispering in his ear, like explaining to him the pause, and then he still didn't get it. And then Ted Cruz had to explain it to him. And like I seldomly like Ted Cruz. I just thought he was pretty awesome right here because he also pointed out to. Because basically all the dude from the Sierra Foundation could say was 97% of scientists believe in global warming. And that's all he would say. That is it. And to any of Ted Cruz's questions. And Ted Cruz was just making him look like a fucking buffoon. And anytime he said anything else, he had some dude whispering in his ear, like feeding him lines. It was just hilarious. And this is the guy who's like a number one, like head honcho,
Yeah, he's the guy they decided to put in front of the Senate. You would assume this is about, the best they can put forward.
Exactly, and I'm just saying, and when you hear of something like the pause, the past 18 years. And the temperature has not risen. I mean, doesn't that, kind of make you believe like global warming could be a cash cow for government?
Well, yeah, that's obviously what it's supposed to fucking be. I mean, just the simple fact that every single model they've come up with that was the reason, that was supposedly their justification for saying that this is this huge catastrophe, has been demonstrably proven wrong.
Yeah, but all of these science people, all these quote-unquote science people, or a lot of them have their fingers in their ears, and they're like, science, and they're not hearing anything about the pause, It's, and when it comes to global warming, it's, once again, I'm not a scientist, I've read a lot into it, though. I've also read a lot of scientists who have went against global warming have also been blacklisted. So, and
which is an important piece of evidence to keep in mind.
See, that's the problem. When statism touches anything, it turns it to shit. So here's an example of statism like corrupting science. I mean, if you didn't,
exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it's happened.
Just like statism corrupts religion, dude. Just like governments use religion to get people behind wars, dude.
Sure.
It's so it's like science. Like, once again, in South Park, it's almost like a religion, dude.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's the unfortunate thing. They say that, it's science, and so people, particularly leftists for whatever reason, just immediately jump and say, well, then it must be true, without thinking about it scientifically themselves. Of like, okay, so what's the evidence?
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, those people are probably saying the same thing that I say, and they're probably saying, well, I'm not a scientist, but science says, But I say, well, I'm not a scientist, so
but the thing is, science.
So I don't know.
The science. But
that is a
but
theory.
what we're saying here is that the science isn't actually saying that. Like, these people are saying, like, the science says this, but they're being deceived into thinking that that's what science is saying.
It's because they're hearing all these other scientists who are getting funded by global warming saying that the science says something else. So they're not listening to the actual science.
Right.
They've got their fingers in their ears, and they're just repeating what they've been told time and time again on countless internet articles and videos and on the television and on the news and on fucking comedy shows. You know, you've heard it a million fucking times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's whether it's real or not, it's like that's what people believe. It doesn't matter. And meanwhile, government and Al Gore have this big fucking cash cow.
Fair enough.
Al
It
Gore's
was a
got
brilliant
rich as
plan,
fuck off
wasn't it?
global warming. You know, Al Gore's probably made more money than fucking, you know, I don't know, like BP off global warming. You know,
Probably as he sails around in his yachts and jets and God knows what else.
yeah. So
in the grand scheme
let's
of
talk
things,
about
Ben Carson talking about grain is,
Yeah. Not,
you know, it's on par. It's the same level of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
But, you know, welcome to modern civilization. Isn't it wonderful?
Well, let's talk about some good news.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like,
No?
still, like on the Carson tip, you know, like one thing that bothers me about it is like, you know, I'm seeing like fucking like 50 articles about like Ben Carson believes stupid shit. You know, it's like, really, is this the best news that you could be reporting on? You know, is this like...
Well, I mean, everything gets reported on.
It's because the Democrats see him as a threat, so they're going to just character assassinate as best they can, which has been their MO since I've been born, and it's no surprise. I mean, you could see this coming a mile away. It's just character assassination like they always do.
Yeah, like...
And I'm sure they see him as a big threat because, I mean, liberals see everything through the prism of race, so they see a black guy doing successfully in the Republican primary. That's somebody they have to destroy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would never, like, fucking, like, support Ben Carson or back Ben Carson, but I like him more than most of the Republicans on that stage.
Really? Any particular reason why?
Yeah, for starters, he seems like less of a hawk than anybody on that stage besides Rand Paul.
I mean, well, okay.
I mean, and for
The
me...
being very religious part, I think... maybe it's just bias, but that makes me wary of a person potentially being very pro-war because, you know, if you think God is on your side, God knows what you'll do. You know, armed with that belief.
Well, yeah, I mean, isn't that essentially what...
You know?
I mean, that's essentially what George Bush said after the fact. George W. was that he thought he was doing, like, God's work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he worded it that way, but
I think he did in a book that came out that he like co-wrote or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have the exact quote, but it was something to that effect.
Hey, Big Eith, could you pass that, that vape thing?
That good
thing.
That good.
A special vape.
Big Eith.
Hold on.
So
I got to do some quality check first.
Speaking of what you're doing,
we should move on.
Can we move on to the good news?
Nah, dude, I still want to talk about Carson, dude.
Why?
It's like, no, I mean, because I don't know, like.
What just amazes me is that someone could be so brilliant in one area and then just like so unbrilliant in another.
I mean, why, dude? I mean,
he grew up in the inner city. He was probably traumatized by all sorts of experiences, and I think he's talked about some what sound like pretty horrifically traumatizing things that I've heard. You know, just being thrown out there.
I mean,
is it any wonder that he's going to end up turning to some sort of crazy thing like religion?
Sure, and no, I'm not saying that. It's not that I find it hard to believe. It's just it is a very weird thing about the human mind is that it's very good at compartmentalizing things.
And the most tragic part is that he may be one of the most qualified people in the world to figure out what's going on, except that he probably doesn't think that he's crazy as shit.
Yeah.
And he's probably the only person that could diagnose it if he wanted. He's a fucking brain surgeon with a broken brain.
Yeah. But I mean, is a surgeon... But here's the other thought that I've had. I mean... If you really think about what a surgeon is, I mean, they're really just a mechanic for the human body, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily... Sure. What's that?
In a way, sure.
But I mean, it's not the same as like a neuroscientist, right?
I mean, I think he's part of his reputation is that like he's pioneered like surgical like methods and like certain surgeries or whatever. So
okay,
you know,
so you have to have
that's a level of sophistication above just.
He's also talked about the Fed though too.
Is he?
Really?
He's talked about the Fed.
Does he like it?
No, he doesn't. He's not a fan of the Fed.
That's
I mean,
That's a start.
Like, that's another thing, like Carson, if you're going to say things, I mean, that's another thing that Carson has going for him, I would say, is that, he's not an insider, He's a dude. Okay, I mean, just stop.
I'll give him that.
Once again, I'm not endorsing voting for Carson, but I mean, I'm gonna say I can name qualities about like most everybody on that stage, but at the same time, like I wouldn't vote for them, and I think like Carson, for instance, like one thing that would make me never vote for him is, of course, his stance on the drug war. He said that he would intensify the drug war if he was president. He said that he would go after states where it's legal.
He wants to get Old Testament on your ass.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I don't like that. And guess what? Most of the fuckers on that stage are saying the same thing. So I don't like that out of them either. But when you're looking at like the best of the worst, it's he is the least hawkish besides Rand. So, ultimately, I think people dying is the most fucked up thing going on in the world, and,
Sure. I mean, people die from the drug war, too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. But you're not going to end the drug war with any of those fuckers, But, Rand has actually spoken out against it. But has any other Republican on that stage done anything to speak out against it?
Against the drug war?
I don't think so.
Against the drug war?
Sure. I don't know. Ted Cruz seems like a reasonable, sane enough guy that he might look at, reclassifying or decriminalizing to some small extent. I have no idea, but Ted Cruz strikes me as the kind of guy.
I'm not sure, but I see what you're saying. Once again, a guy who I could never see myself voting for, but like I said, I like them I like the way he handled the global warming science dude.
He's a smart guy. He's a bright guy. He's definitely a great. He's a great attack dog for the Republicans, if nothing else.
Whereas in Carla Fiorina, like I love the way that she handles herself. She's a good speaker, but I think that she would be a total hawk. I think that she's also said some stupid things about the drug war. But I also like how she ripped Trump a new asshole. Like, I mean, she's like. Whereas I'm just saying she has charm and charisma, but I mean, so did Bill Clinton, so did Barack Obama. I'm not saying that these are.
Yeah, I mean that just makes me more wary of them. And that's
I'd rather have some like meager like.
Yeah, that was
like,
one of the best things
mousy,
about Ron Paul.
like
Ron Paul couldn't speak for
and
shit.
Exactly.
That was also one of the best things about George Bush.
Well. Point taken.
Because
it's all context.
Yeah, because then at least you could kind of see through Bush, and people were pissed off at him. And look how Barack Obama's charm and charisma has, leaded him
befuddled everybody.
No scrutiny almost. From,
Well, I mean, it's a classic
everybody.
sign. I mean, to me, that's always like be on your guard, be on your lookout, because that's the MO of straight up sociopaths. When they're just a little too smooth. You know what I mean? I mean, Carly Fiorina, I've only heard her speak a couple times. I think maybe I heard her being interviewed on Hannity or something. So I'll listen to his radio show sometimes.
Really?
And she just sounded like a total politician to me. It was like the most fucking canned responses and the most canned candor to how she's talking. I was like, this sounds like the most politician-ish politician I've ever heard. And I was like, I was just totally turned off by it.
Yeah, I mean, it's policy-wise,
Sure.
Policy-wise, once again, I'm not a fan. I can't think of any way that I am a fan. Yeah. So
well, let's move on to the other side, because I know you guys wanted to talk about Bernie Sanders, and I guess he's come out with. Now, I had heard. I haven't been paying attention to the election at all, to be honest, but I've heard that what he said was that he would reschedule marijuana, which is not legalization or decriminalization or anything by any stretch.
He was talking about ending federal prohibition on marijuana. Federal prohibition.
I mean, completely removing all prohibition.
On the federal level. I believe states, though, could still...
Well, sure.
States could still have prohibition, but he was just talking about just...
even Ron Paul
didn't Barack
didn't
Obama
oppose
say
that.
the same exact thing? Didn't he say he was... Well, maybe not that he was going to do it legally?
All Barack Obama said was in states that... in states where it was legal, he wouldn't send in the feds to raid dispensaries and shit.
And
which is effectively the same
his
thing.
first couple of years, and Bush didn't.
I mean,
It is effectively the same thing, but
no. Well,
it gives him
Bernie Sanders is actually suggesting like a straight up end to federal prohibition, like a law,
right. Okay.
You know, whereas Barack Obama, it was just like a smile and a handshake, and it was a reach around, you know.
Ooh.
Or I don't know. Was it? There's probably no reach around there. You know?
Yeah, I don't think he's that generous, man.
Not at all.
So Bernie Sanders explicitly said, I would end all federal prohibition on marijuana.
I mean, well, he actually, I believe he just introduced a bill in Senate. So
really? That's pretty awesome.
Let me see. I could pull that up.
Yeah, look that up. You got a laptop there. Look this up.
Yeah. So I mean, like the thing that gets me about this article is,
I mean, does it just completely strike all the prohibitions from the record, or is this like a new law that compounds upon the old ones?
Yeah, he actually introduced the bill. It's called the Ending Federal Marijuana Prohibition Act, or maybe that isn't the real name, but it does.
Does it?
That's what it does.
But is it?
It's very straightforward.
I mean, the federal prohibition on what? So, like, for example, if I was a totally scummy politician that wanted to lie to people,
dude,
if my position was, and this might have to do with the rescheduling thing. If he's just ending federal prohibition on marijuana research, then that would be what's involved in rescheduling. Because right now, like, you're not supposed to do federal research or like some such thing because like it's scheduled as like the worst of the worst. But if it was rescheduled like a lower class classification of less naughty, then like it'd be more open like for things like research and yada yada yada. So
I mean, the way
I don't know. I'm just being very skeptical. I mean, he may very well have came out and said.
I mean, that's
like,
the way all the headlines are reading.
weed.
At least is that.
Well, the media is leftist, so.
Well, no, Reason. Well, actually, I was really disappointed in the Reason article headline because it said something to the effect of, like, first senator to try to pass a law to legalize marijuana or something, or end prohibition or whatever. When I'm pretty sure Ron Paul did that.
That may be. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Just the way it was phrased, it was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like Ron Paul, Gary Johnson, they've all said that shit.
Well, Ron Paul is not a senator.
Yeah, he was.
I mean,
or a senator or a congressman.
No, Ron Paul was a congressman.
Right. Well, he was a representative. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's at first,
are we
senator,
talking Congress? I don't know. That's what I'm. Okay, maybe I should have.
And Gary Johnson wasn't a senator.
I don't think it said senator.
He was a governor. He was a candidate for president.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it just depends on how they're wording it, but no matter what
I mean,
it is, this could be.
He's definitely not the first great mind on the subject.
No.
Well,
but it is cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty groundbreaking. You know. Well,
so
I mean, so it's basically like every time I post about Bernie, which usually it's negative stuff, you know, but you know, it's I'm with him on this, you know. So I mean, and I think that's cool, and I think we should encourage that. So at any rate, like every time I criticize the guy, I get like a million like hate comments. And then I share something, cool that the guy did, and then I get a million hate comments.
You can't win, especially with Bernie, man.
Well,
it's
really libertarians.
It's like people don't want you to
Bernie.
even talk about him.
Well, so let me ask you to respond to this accusation. As it has been established on the show before, I am a huge Cantwell fan.
Yeah, dude, you're just swinging from his belt loop.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I've designated myself
the
official radical agenda Chris Cantwell liaison to punk rock libertarians. So somebody called in to Cantwell's show, and they were talking about the marijuana thing. Now, I don't know if you're aware, Cantwell wrote an article right after Jeff Tucker did criticizing pot. Basically saying, like, oh, it's, like, of course it should be legal and this and that, but I find it, really disgusting, and I don't like the people that do it, and yada, yada, yada. And so Cantwell's position basically is that he doesn't, and I agree with him on this, like, he doesn't like seeing, too many people are sort of becoming these single issue voters and are willing to say, like, oh, yeah, I'll support Bernie Sanders, he's going to end the drug war. And it's like, well, but fundamentally, like, he's just so polar opposite of everything we stand for. Like, that's a ridiculous position to take, to just be a single issue on this one ridiculous, relatively irrelevant thing.
You know, well, I would guess that for every like 2 articles that we have that are positive about Sanders, we've got another 8 that are ragging on the man. So I mean,
this person called in,
Yeah.
and basically what they levied the accusation that basically you guys had posted an article talking about how Bernie Sanders wants to end, pot prohibition, and basically he made it sound like you guys were essentially endorsing the guy.
Yeah, of course. Every time we post anything pro somebody, or not even pro them, just like this guy said some cool shit.
Did.
All of a sudden, it's like a ringing endorsement, and we're gonna be throwing up a banner on the site.
So Cantwell got all pissed off. He's like, "What the fuck? Like, PRL, they're usually great. Like, I think they're awesome. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why would you post something like that? If this is true, like what this caller is telling me." And so
I should write an article or something.
I just want to clear the air, and for Cantwell, if you're listening, apparently Bergman says,
dude, I think if libertarianism,
he says that he has not endorsed Bernie Sanders based on this ridiculous single issue voting.
No, I'm not endorsing Bernie Sanders. No,
okay.
I'm not endorsing.
So the caller was mistaken in portraying.
I'm not endorsing Bernie Sanders. I haven't quote unquote endorsed anybody. When somebody,
well, not like a formal endorsement,
I think, that it was. But an at the same time, like we're like reporting news here, and when somebody does do something cool, it should be encouraged, and then hopefully like more people will catch on to that, the things that are cool that are happening, and basically people hold politicians accountable when they're doing stuff that is uncool. We're just like we're reporting on news that's going on.
Okay,
it's
that's
not
relevant.
It's not a straight up presidential endorsement, but I mean that is some pretty big news. And once again, 8 out of 10 articles about Bernie Sanders are usually ragging on something.
Yeah. In fact, we have another one lined up for tonight.
Oh, we do. I didn't know.
As well. Okay. You should, but I just wanted to give
you
the opportunity to clear the air, and make nice with Cantwell, because I know you're such a
consider
huge
that
fan.
air cleared.
No, well, dude,
just clarify that you in no way were trying to endorse Bernie Sanders, and if anything, it sounds like the guy that called into Cantwell's show was misinterpreting.
Well, dude, I think if libertarianism was a video game, like fucking Chris Cantwell would be Donkey Kong, dude, and you would be Diddy Kong, and it was like. So,
I could be like the Yoshi to his Mario or something.
Yeah, or that you could be Yoshi. Yeah. But no, I love you, Ethan. You're awesome. And I mean, and with Chris Cantwell, I think probably more than half the time I think he's awesome. But I think he says some things that kind of like rub people the wrong way, and I think you attract more flies with honey. Okay.
I think it's a matter of tactic. I mean, what we try to do, like
maybe. I mean, he definitely appeals to a demographic of people, but I also think he turns away like a large demographic of people. He's more vinegar than honey. It's
well,
like
he's not trying. I mean, he's very sort of like separatist minded in a lot of ways, if you will. And so I don't think he's trying to include these people.
Well, I think you want to keep the numbers of people against you down. And if you're actually saying things that are like, oh, this guy's a libertarian, I see what libertarians are about. I mean, he just comes off as an ass to a lot of people. Okay.
Well, of course he does.
Well, he's doing that on purpose.
Yeah, he knows yes, he does. He tries to be confrontational and controversial. Like that's his MO.
I think what Matt's trying to say is like the tactic. It's all about your tactic of trying to get, because obviously he is trying to convince people of the ideas of liberty or whatever, or voluntarism. I mean, or else why would he be running a radio show, just so that he could like circle jerk?
What he says is he's not trying to create libertarians. He's trying to radicalize existing libertarians, is what he says. And I totally see his point, because his whole thing is the purity of the philosophy. Which I'm
when you said purity,
totally
I just heard that and I thought Hitler. Like, really,
yeah,
dude.
Well, that's because you're.
I was like, I didn't
closet
know
Nazi.
This was the KKK podcast.
No, but the problem basically is when you try to make libertarianism into this whole big tent philosophy, you end up diluting the philosophy and defeating the whole purpose. The whole purpose of the non-aggression principle is that it is an objective absolute. It is, it should be completely inviolable. So the whole point of the non-aggression principle is that it's 100% true. It is inviolable, not inviolable, but it shouldn't be, because it is an objective truth. And it's that objectivity of the non-aggression principle that is the linchpin to everything fundamentally.
So when you take somebody like Bernie Sanders, who I think people are taking like a more pragmatic viewpoint with him, at least like the libertarians that are like hopping on board with him. Like they see the, you know, the drug war stuff. I guess they see what other libertarian, semi-libertarian stuff.
I mean, I can't think of it.
I get
so that's Campbell's whole issue is like, look, like there's these libertarians or so-called quote unquote libertarians that are sympathetic towards, if not outright practically endorsing Bernie Sanders. For what? For this one ridiculous, you know, issue? And I mean, like
Well, I don't know that the issue is ridiculous.
Well,
but
yeah. Let me walk that back. It's not a ridiculous issue, but it's ridiculous for that to be a single issue voter on that, particularly when you're talking about somebody who is so fundamentally opposed to everything else you're supposed to stand for. So I mean, how can you, if it's just foundationally completely wrong? I mean, how can you just make this one exception?
Well, because people aren't weighing the pros and the cons of Bernie Sanders appropriately. Like they're seeing the drug war thing, and then they're ignoring all the other like super socialist, super, you know, wealth transfer, all that shit, or not. Well, yeah, wealth, whatever, you know, like wealth redistribution. Yeah, and
the welfare state.
And they're not weighing the fact that like, okay, even if you legalize weed, you're adding a whole bunch of horrible shit. You're getting a whole bunch of horrible shit in return. Is it worth that? No. I mean, it's like one step forward, but then like fucking 10 steps back. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, I totally get where Campbell's frustration, you know, with that comes from. But, you know, I mean, every time I see somebody, you know, say anything sympathetic towards Bernie Sanders, like, oh, he's going to rein in the corporations. It's like, well...
Yeah, that's another semi-libertarian thing that isn't really libertarian.
Well, yeah, exactly. I look at that person, I'm like, wait, are you really a libertarian? Like, do you not understand, like, the issue isn't the corporations, it's the violations of the non-aggression principle? Like, and so that's where I'm absolutely on board when Cantwell, purity, you're right, it doesn't sound good. I'll try to think of a better word, but, you know, if something is objectively true, you can't just bend that, you know? And so I think there's absolutely a place for his rigidity, you know, on these things in the movement, because to me, I constantly see all these leftist influences and, you know, trying to make things a big tent ideology or philosophy, you know, to dilute the philosophy at all is completely counterproductive.
Yeah.
I don't think you're necessarily like.
And if that rubs some people the wrong way, so be it. Then they should be.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're really like diluting the philosophy. I mean, it's. I think when you make a big tent, I mean, you're expanding. You know.
Well, but I mean, if we're talking,
you might have better
results.
But here's the thing: that might be a little more productive. You know?
Well, look, I'm one of those all approaches kind of guys. I don't criticize anybody for taking any approach. I think that everybody should go out there and do everything, whether
you just have your favorite
it's political,
position.
Whether it's political action or having a YouTube channel or going out and whatever. I'm for all of that.
What's your favorite position?
What's your favorite position?
All of them.
That's cool with me. It's not my favorite. I do it for you. But I mean, my criticisms of Cantwell are purely just tactical. I mean, I think you can be rigid on the non-aggression principle and not be an asshole. You know, like I feel like I'm pretty rigid. You know, I don't make any exceptions for things, but I don't go out of my way to like call someone out if they have like a discrepancy in the way they're applying it or not applying it.
Well, and that's just the thing. I mean, there's a difference between like like you're saying. I mean, there is a pragmatic element to it. You know, like some people don't vote at all. I don't vote just because I don't think it makes any difference. There's some people that don't vote out of principle. There's some people that do vote out of pragmatism, but that's useless if it's not based on a certain philosophy. Like pragmatic to what end?
Right.
And if that end isn't philosophically sound, then what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. I think Matt's taking a little piss break.
Ooh.
We'll continue on.
Do you need us to hold it for you, Matt? He knows what I meant.
Yeah.
Well, so as long as we can clear the air, the PRL does not in any way endorse Bernie Sanders. They think he's a socialist piece of shit or something in that ballpark. So.
Yeah, it's just funny when that shit Because, like, we literally do post, like, a lot of Bernie Sanders articles. Because, I mean, I guess he's the person that we're taking the most seriously out of any of the candidates, really. That really has, like, the largest threat towards liberty, potentially.
Well, I mean, he's totally. I mean, he's front and center on the radar of, I think, probably everybody, you know, in the demographic that listen, you know,
right,
listens to and reads PRL. That is a lot of Smarties, dude.
Yeah, there's other stuff in there too, dude.
Jesus.
Really? I thought those were just Smarties.
Were you? Did you guys not get many trick or treaters?
I'm gonna grab some real quick.
No, we did. We just had like a lot of food. We have a lot of candy left over.
You just lied to yourself when you bought it, and you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have like 100 kids come through, when you really knew there was only gonna be like 30.
No, like we had a lot of kids.
That's easily 70 children's worth of candy in that bowl right there.
In here, dude. Fuck yeah.
But we always get like a ton of candy, so we have a ton left over.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You did this on purpose, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, pretty much every year.
That's awesome. I like that.
All right, so since we just praised Bernie, to kind of even things out, let's bash him a little bit.
Oh, the Uber thing.
So yeah, it came out recently that, I think it was a few months ago, he said something offhand about how he doesn't like Uber because it's unregulated. And
douche.
It just emerged that apparently all of his taxi rides that he's been using on his campaign were actually Uber rides.
Wait. A leftist politician being a hypocrite? This is a first.
I mean, surprise.
You don't think the quote-unquote rightist politicians are hypocrites?
Every politician is.
No, they're all pieces of shit. Don't get me wrong.
It's basically like right there. I mean, like I think when you say it like that, a leftist politician, it's like kind of like you're making us sound right, and like I don't know. I don't consider I don't consider myself right.
I mean, to some
I'm
extent,
right is incorrect.
Myself, to some extent, in certain ways, I definitely identify with the right. I mean, I definitely came to libertarianism from, sort of the minarchist perspective. I never would have called myself conservative per se.
No, and I did too. But I mean, after years and years of being a libertarian, like I've just found just as much frustration with the right. And I mean, they don't really believe in small government.
Well, conservative philosophy, if done properly, is fairly reasonable and not batshit crazy. Leftist philosophy is completely batshit crazy. And when it comes to political reality, of course Republicans are lying fucking criminals just like the left are. For sure.
Well, I mean, all conservatism is just maintaining the status quo. Just keeping things the same. It's conserving.
Roughly.
And it's no change.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. It's really
it's much more.
I don't think it is so
it's much
sound.
more nuanced than that. But that's sort of an underpinning thought.
But I mean, but all it is really is to conserve, to not change.
I don't know. This is getting to be a semantical argument.
I think there's plenty of shit that we want to change.
Sure.
I don't think America had it perfect in 1776. I think we'd have better than that. I mean, and that's as far as you can really conserve back to, right?
But moving back in most ways, if at least many ways, that would be the correct direction for us to go to. That's when government was smaller. And, I want to go all the way back to that and then some.
Well, it's also,
speaking,
other things were fucked up back then too.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, getting back to Uber, did you hear about the guy who was charged with he was charged with wiretapping because he was giving illegal Uber rides?
Wait, what?
Yeah. And I guess because you use your cell phone to conduct Uber transactions or whatever, that's how they get the wiretapping charge. I didn't super look into it.
That's just crazy. Well, now you said illegal Uber. Like he was an Uber driver, but it was in an area where it wasn't legal for them to do that. Like one of the places that's cracked down on their taxi protectionism schemes.
I believe that's what it is.
Okay. And so what? So they couldn't go after him on just simple hack taxi laws. They had to go full blown wiretapping.
I guess, yeah.
I wonder if that's because maybe was this just a state thing? It wasn't feds were involved or anything, right?
I think it was just state.
Yeah, I can't imagine feds getting involved, something like that. But
Who knows?
well, that's just fucking crazy. I mean, if the whole Uber thing doesn't demonstrate to people how regulation is always nothing more than just fucking crony protectionism, I don't know what better
it's
example
the
there
clearest
is.
example, dude.
Yeah, that's like the best thing about Uber too.
I mean, like when
would
you
say.
hear somebody like Bernie Sanders say like, "There's a problem because it's not regulated," that's when you know they're an absolute dumb fucking piece of shit.
Because it's not regulated.
Right.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
Well, it's just regulated by the market.
well, and the notion that it already exists is already used widely and is already popular, and now you're saying there's a problem. A problem where? The only
There's
problem,
a problem in that.
the only
yeah.
problem that I could even identify, much less think is actually a problem, would be the fact that you're not getting your cut or your donors aren't getting their protectionist regulation. I mean, like,
Yeah, exactly.
what other possible justification could you possibly make? Like, it's just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You know, and for him to say this, you know, like in front of like college kids that have graduated without a degree and can't find work, like, I don't know, Uber seems like a pretty great opportunity for them. I've actually know a handful of people that drive or have driven for Uber, and they're like,
Yeah,
I mean,
like
like if you
Alexis
just need some
Schlegel
money, it's
drives for
fucking
Uber.
great.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's great all around. It's a great opportunity for employment, and it's just a great service.
And
I
so
mean, I
now-
used it twice yesterday,
I've used it once,
and it was seamless.
Oh yeah, I've used it once, and it was perfect. It was phenomenal. It was like,
Yeah.
this is what fucking taking a cab.
Whereas every time I take a real cab, I get fucking ripped off in some way.
well, because they have a protectionist racket.
Right. All right.
But so, well, has Bernie come out? Has he addressed this? Has he said anything about it? Has he made a statement about it?
I don't believe so.
Do you think he'll ever make a statement about it?
Doubtful. I mean,
So,
unless he's
what
asked
could
at a
he say?
debate, but I mean, I think he would address it if somebody raised the question to him. I don't know that he's going to.
Well, so,
It's funny 'cause
so
I think
there,
the
there
only-
has to maybe this is something. Maybe this is some activism we could do. Maybe
Yeah, because the
if-
only people that are bringing this up are libertarians.
Well,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, the
maybe
right's not bringing it
I mean,
up.
I know it's like a thing like presidential debates. So at least in theory, like they'll take questions like from Twitter or something. Now, of course, they're totally like pre-screened and everything.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
you know,
what
maybe we
if,
could start a
like,
campaign.
for the
maybe we
next
could start a
debate, ask Bernie
campaign to
Sanders
get.
about Uber.
That's what I'm saying. Start get like an online campaign going to get people to force Bernie to answer these questions like in these debates or something.
That would be cool.
You know, and if nothing else, I mean, just make it enough of a big thing to the point where he just has to address it.
That would be pretty fucking cool.
This should be a thing. Get on this.
Dude, let's get on this shit. Move, Stella. I can't read the board. Stella. So we got a story out of Connecticut. Police are going around to cars that have valuables in plain view and are unlocked, and they're stealing these items, temporarily stealing these items, and taking them back to the police station, and then the person who they belong to has to come retrieve them. And it's all, the supposed idea behind it is that they're, what do they call it, the caretaker? Or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
And but basically it's just to teach people to, like, I guess, be more responsible with their own shit. But clearly it's a total violation of their property rights.
Yeah, what by what right do they have to? I mean, how is that not like the most flagrant violation of like Fourth Amendment protections of against search and seizure?
Oh, yeah.
Like how?
I don't know.
They're probably
There's
just using
clearly
this as
no
an
crime
excuse to
that
go
is
into people's
committed.
cars.
What?
They're probably just using this as an excuse to go into people's cars.
Oh, of course.
I'd be curious if somebody would conduct a survey to find out exactly how much property people got back.
Yeah.
See if the cops don't lose a couple things
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
in this process.
Exactly.
But I mean, what a ridiculous display of how fucking useless they are. I mean, they're clearly just trying to justify their existence. It's like, well, clearly people are not feeling unsafe enough, so we have to make them feel unsafe so
Right.
we can keep our phone.
We have to increase the amount of the level of paranoia here. So
Yeah, I mean that's just completely fucking insane. I can't imagine that some sort of constitutional lawsuit isn't coming their way. I mean that's just
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, no,
what's
it's completely insane.
what's the media coverage of this been like? I mean, surely there have to be plenty of people that are pissed off about this.
I mean,
people
I
are
just saw
victims
it.
of it.
Matt just put it on PRL. I don't know. Did you see it in any other media sources, Matt?
Not that I can think of.
I mean, what was this? Just like something the local news covered or something?
I believe so. Yeah.
I'd just be curious to see what the context was. I mean, if that's something that's newsworthy, I can't imagine like they trotted this out as like, "Hey, public, just so you know, the police are going to be doing this great new service for you, and it's going to be wonderful." Like, I would imagine this is an article like,
Yeah, I think
more
like,
along the lines of people are up in arms about the cops fucking stealing their shit.
Yeah, like Free Thought Project actually posted that one, and we aggregated it. And yeah, those guys, they report on a lot of shit that you won't hear anywhere else. I mean, a lot of times they're the first outlet to break the story, you know. And I think it's the amazing thing about Free Thought Project. That the last I heard, they got over like 1 million views a day.
So they're doing real journalism.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot of people into liberty ideas as well. You know, and I think they're really the website, I would say, that started getting viral, like police brutality stories. You know, they started like posting all these YouTube videos and making people aware of them.
They seem to, everything I see a lot of their stuff like on Facebook, they seem to be really focused on people who are very directly and egregiously violated by the state. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because, I don't want anybody to be, arrested and thrown in a jail cell for marijuana or something like that. But that's totally the kind of thing that will snap people out of, their statism when they realize, like, holy fucking shit, the whole system has a gun pointed at me.
Also, I love their website name because I feel like it's a name that like invites everybody.
Yeah, it's not like expressly libertarian.
Exactly. It's like, who doesn't like free thought?
Like that's sort of the problem with our site is like, it's punk rock libertarian. Like it's pretty clear if you're not into punk rock and you're not into libertarianism, it's gonna be hard for you to maybe get into this unless you're kind of dragged in.
Yeah, but we have more like a cult classic following.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Classic. It's like classic rock.
We're just a cult following.
Yeah, cult following.
Well, I think you guys are well established. In the libertarian community, I think most people they know who you are and know you've been around a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a double-edged sword. At the same time, anybody that's into punk rock is that much more likely to find it. So
sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's definitely a demographic that's going to be open to these kind of ideas. So
I would say so. Definitely. As much as like so many punk rockers want to say like there's nothing libertarian about punk rock, it's like fuck you. 100,000 people think differently,
Right.
Yeah. To me, I've never been into punk. I'm not punk in any way, but to me, the ethos seems to me have always been like self-sustaining DIY sort of mindset.
Exactly. Yeah, libertarian. What is more DIY than libertarian?
Anarchism.
Well, anarchism is libertarianism in its purest form.
I'm just trying to be stupid. I'm good at it.
You're successful.
Thank you. I'd be good at something.
All right. So it just came out that PETA is endorsing a ban on pit bulls.
By what mechanism are these pit bulls banned? Like, are they going to be put down?
I think that's how it would work. According to the video that Julie Borowski...
ethical treatment of animals.
What's that?
That doesn't sound like ethical treatment of animals.
Yeah, apparently, according to the video that Julie Borowski put out, their whole solution is to just get these animals from their owners and then put them down. Basically,
so they're actually explicitly saying, like, we need to just put down all pit bulls.
That's what she said in the video. I didn't go back to the original source, but...
Wow.
Apparently they already do that for cats. Apparently they've killed like 80% of the animals they take into custody or whatever they put down.
Oh yeah,
something insane like that.
Yeah, I've heard of.
So yeah, that would extend, of course, to the pit bulls.
So and their argument is, what is it? They're just inherently violent or something?
Yeah, and the funny thing that she pointed out, which I wasn't completely aware of, is that pit bull is a very broad term. Like it's not an actual like one species of dog or whatever, or genus, whatever the fucking classification is. But it covers a broad range of animals that look different, that exhibit different traits. And of course, the only ones you ever hear about are like the, violent like dog fighting pit bulls that the media just like pounces on and, like makes a huge deal out of when, you know, there's a pit bull walking around this basement right now, and she's not causing
like the
any
sweetest
trouble,
thing ever.
except for just sniffing you.
Well, I
So,
like it.
I mean, to think like that Stella needs to be put down is just completely fucking retarded.
I mean, and like, how would you handle like mutts, like mixed breeds, like
right?
would they just put down half the dog?
Yeah, I mean, is she a mix or straight up?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would imagine she looks like she's definitely pit bull, but then is like Dalmatian or
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say her face looks kind of Dalmatian.
I don't think I've ever met like a straight up pit bull that was just pure pit. Like they're always mixed with lab or something, you know. So yeah, I mean, how do you fucking determine that? Like, what are you gonna run like a DNA test, or are you just gonna look at it and say it looks like a pit? We need to put it down, you know? And that's what would ultimately happen, unfortunately.
And I mean, so like,
and there's already cities that apparently have this ban in place.
They're gonna like make it a law, like federal law, like you can't have a pit bull, and if it can't be owned, it has to be put down. Basically.
I don't know that they're trying to do anything necessarily on the federal level, but apparently there are cities already that have pit bull bans. So if you have a pit bull, you have to either put it down or get rid of it or whatever. I'm not sure how each individual city went about enforcing that, but either way, I mean, it's completely fucking. It just kind of reminds me of like the whole thing with guns and like assault rifles, and you know what I mean. Like people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're like, "Oh, let's ban this scary gun. Let's ban this scary looking dog," when you have no fucking clue.
Well, I mean, I can't help but notice, the parallels with racism. Like, how would you, like, if we were to, like, make the same comparison and say, like, oh, well, the crime rate is higher among blacks, and so thus blacks are inherently violent, and so we need to, do something to just get rid of them. I mean, obviously that would be completely batshit insane.
Of course, yeah.
And it's definitely not like, I have no problem conceding that the data seems to indicate that black people in general engage in more criminal behavior.
Did you watch that Molyneux video, The Truth About Gun Control? Where he talks about those stats.
I watch it. I watch everything from Molyneux. So yeah, I've seen that stuff.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
But to then translate that into something saying like, and thus everything from this genetic lineage is clearly bad and must be put down. Like, that's like a whole leap of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Where are you going with this? Like, we don't need to start killing things. Just start looking at the issues, because it's not their pit bullness that makes them dangerous.
No.
There may be correlations, like more people that get pit bulls are the kind of people that train them to be aggressive or they abuse them or whatever. And so it may be true that pit bulls on average have higher incidences of, attacking children or something. That may well be true. But that's not a justification to get rid of pit bulls. That's, maybe a good reason to look into what are the things that are causing this dog to be aggressive, which, so far as I understand, they're not different from people. It's all about how you treat them.
Sure.
If you abuse the shit out of them and train them to be aggressive, well, sure, that's what you're going to get. But, I mean, that's just ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like it's from fucking Hitler or the KKK, not purity of non-aggression principle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, like, what is PETA then? Like, what the fuck are they really doing? Is it just a foundation that, to pay some board members? I mean,
that's the impression I get. Is, I mean, I'm not aware of anything they fundamentally do that's particularly productive other than pay salaries to lobbyists.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I just always
members.
hear like ridiculous shit like this, or like, they'll be like, start some campaign against like fishing. Like, really?
Yeah, like
fishing.
They'll take out ads on the New York subway that promote vegetarianism or something. It's like, okay, good for you. It's insane. And I still can't understand how. I mean, like, so what? So pit bulls are dangerous to humans. Well, aren't they supposed to be a special interest group for the ethical treatment of animals?
So yeah, why do they give a fuck?
In the interest of the animals? Like, when did this suddenly became a thing? Like, my mind is just kind of blown. I don't even really know where to go with that. Like, it's just so nonsensical.
Yeah. So you guys wanted to discuss a recent Tom Woods episode? He had a comedian on. What was his name?
Yeah, Dave Smith.
Dave Smith. That's a very generic name.
Yeah, seriously. Is that like John? Is he John Doe's cousin or something?
Yeah. So, anyways, like they were on there.
Dude, can I get a chip?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was basically, I forget the exact context, but they brought up a couple cool analogies. One was when they were basically saying like, oh well, like the police work for me because I pay their taxes. I mean, because I pay my taxes and that's their salary. And the fallacy in that argument they were pointing out is, you don't pay your taxes. It's basically you're required to pay them. They're extorted from you. So by taking that logic that they work for you because your tax money is extorted from you, it's the same as saying it's the same as being happy because you were just robbed and you're so happy because you just acquired a new employee.
Oh, so you would turn to the thief and be like, well, you stole my money, but that means that you work for me now.
Exactly.
It's I don't think you understand the dynamics of this situation. You got robbed, not offered a service.
Yeah, the other great analogy, which
that is good.
Yeah, Woods. They were talking about basically foreign policy, and how it was leaked that recently by another whistleblower that I believe it's 95% of U.S. drone fatalities are actually civilians, not targets. They're not actually terrorists. We're killing 95%, civilians, people, and it's basically Tom Woods made the analogy what if we handled what if we handled crime like that in the USA? What if some terrorists attacked a school, so you just drone bomb the entire school?
Wait, I don't get it. What do you mean?
It's basically like with our drone bombings, 95% of the people who are killed are not terrorists. They're just innocent civilians.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and nobody realizes how insane it is, and nobody's getting upset. But so, what if if you think about what if you handled, crime in our country like that? So if some terrorists attack a school, and you just drone bomb the school to get the terrorist, and you just kill a bunch of students. How much sense does that make?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody would stand for it. But, since it's brown people across the ocean who may or may not be Muslim, nobody gives a shit.
It's tragic.
Yep.
But that's the nature of the state. People have to remain as ignorant of the violence inherent in the system. Otherwise, they don't get their teacher's pension or welfare benefits or their food stamps or God knows what else. Get to keep their cushy bureaucrat job.
Yeah.
I think it's getting better, though.
In what sense? People realizing the violence inherent in the system?
I mean, maybe not the subtle violence in the system. Maybe they don't realize that they have a gun pointed at them every day. But, things like war, I think, are becoming more obvious to people that there's something wrong here. I'll have friends that I have that are just, casual, don't really get into philosophy or anything like that. But they'll, bring up, yeah, I heard about that. That shit's fucked up, Especially, with this recent, hospital bombing.
Sure. Do you think the anti-war movement is bigger now than it was in the 60s?
No. No, because the left completely, abandoned the anti-war movement, so...
Yeah.
At least in the 60s, you had the left.
Plus, they had the draft. They had a hell of a lot more motivation to be anti-war.
So, did we talk about that last time, the argument for the draft? Yeah, we did, right? The last time you were here.
Well, I know I brought up, because Cantwell put out this thing about there's some Army general, secretary, somebody or other, I forget his position, but he's some high-up guy. He basically was saying, if, gender equality is a big deal, and that means that we need to make women subject to the draft.
Right.
And so that, Cantwell flipped his shit over that in his usual sort of white knighting fashion. Was just went off this insane rant about that's the fucking line in the sand where I start shooting back and blah blah. You will not take our women, blah blah blah. And the only point that I made was in a pragmatic, practical sense, that would ensure that we would never ever see the draft actually enacted again if women were subject to it, because women sure as fuck aren't going to stand for that.
But have you also heard the argument for just reinstating the draft? Because it would discourage people from voting for politicians that are more likely to get us into war. When you have a completely volunteer army, you don't really you're not concerned about yourself getting sent there. You know what I mean? You're not concerned about yourself getting, forced into the army.
I mean, I see the point, but I don't see how that's ever going to really... It's not a very good fix, in my opinion.
No, but it is an interesting thought experiment because I think it would certainly deter a good amount of people from voting. But the problem is pretty much every politician is a warmonger anyway. So, I mean,
I mean, even Bernie Sanders has said some things. He's certainly not known as a hawk. Yeah. But he's definitely not particularly anti-war. I mean, a lot of his stuff, the issues I've heard him raise with, all the wars in the Middle East or whatever, is basically a contention with the execution, not with fundamentally the idea of we should definitely be sending, troops and bombs over there. We should just be doing it a little less, or maybe over here. And, I heard one comment he made on this campaign was about how we should probably be sending boots, on the ground over to fight ISIS, but we need to make sure that all the other countries are doing their part and doing it too. And it's well, wait a second, that's not very anti-war.
Yeah.
But he's a politician, so he's by definition a lying scumbag. So, and that's the other thing that, to get back to the libertarians supporting Bernie Sanders, is that makes me wonder how can you call yourself libertarian and still vote for this guy? It's how do you not understand that even if there's a couple things he's saying right, he's a politician. He's a lying scumbag. Obama said all this same shit too. Yeah. And where he raided more marijuana dispensaries than George Bush did. Yeah. He upped the number of people in Afghanistan. What on earth makes you think that Bernie Sanders would even actually do any of this shit? Right. And so
I've heard people try to
he's a socialist piece of shit, but I trust him when he says he's going to relax federal regulations on marijuana, even though he doesn't necessarily have full authority to do that and whatever.
Okay, so I think that's about it for tonight. Until next time, live free.
That is shed, drenching the flags of the tax bombs in red. Poisoned by a few at the expense of the many. So do the gods in the death machine. You can't justify killing by economic gain. For God, country, and democracy, you can put freedom and gunpoint in a fine land. You support the troops, then bring them home. I believe that Joe will do the best for you. And I believe that we have the power, have the power. I hate the state, and I know I'm a slave. We can make a break the power, break the power. Society owes individuals nothing more than non-interference with natural rights. Once a virtuous person fully comprehends the non-aggression principle, the violence of the state becomes obsolete.